Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live, the show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And welcome back to another live stream on a Saturday. Today we're talking Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 may not be happening.
And we're also going to be talking about our thoughts on Willow episode 3.
And Grinchmas 2022 back at Universal Studios Hollywood. All this and more coming up on today's live stream. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're here early, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out here on YouTube. I feel like it's been like a long time since we've done like an actual live stream like seated here like this.
It's been a while because it seems like something always comes up either on Wednesdays, something comes up on Saturdays.
Sorry, you're gonna hear some noise from the mic because I gotta adjust it real quick.
Adjust the mic.
Okay, sorry.
So I mean, it's our schedule is always a little crazy, but we're actually able to do it today. I'm excited. Even today, we had to change the time just a little bit because we've got something going on a little bit later today.
Yes, and also, just because it's holiday season, so as far as movie reviews and screening and things like that goes, there's a lot of stuff that's happening before the holidays, and I imagine everybody wants to get it done well before December 25th because of travel and stuff like that. So like if often when we get when we get invites to events or screenings, it's like all of them at like 4 at once. And I was like, well, I can't go to 4, I can go to 1. So you have to try to figure out, and then they'll usually happen with multiple days, but that is why you haven't seen us. And also for like mental health reasons, sometimes like I just need to be at Disneyland. That's just like one of the things. Just being there makes me really happy. Also, we have the magic key we've already paid for, so we might as well use it. So yeah.
And some people spend money on cars, some people spend money on sports, on K-pop stuff.
That's also me.
Some people spend money at Disney, and you know what? Disney's just another way to spell therapy.
Yes, we love it. Do what makes you happy for you, not for other people.
Yep.
So with that said, hey, before we go into the topics today, I just want to let you guys know that if you're interested in any of the Movie Couple shirts, our store, which is linked in the video description. If you don't see it right now, just go ahead and refresh the feed and you should see it in like all the bunch of like links that we have. I think our store is at 35% off. So go ahead and check that out. We have a new design
for the holidays.
Yeah, for the holidays. And also if you enjoy Liquid IV, this isn't a Liquid IV bottle, but like we got Liquid IV in here. With our code, the Movie Couple, if you go onto the Liquid IV website, you get 20% off. Is that the sticker?
I was trying to point to it, but I forget that it's reversed in the camera. So I'm like, it's on this side. Oh no, I did it right that time.
I see. Yeah, so it's 20% off with free shipping, and they make great like stocking stuffers too. Like if you have a bunch of family members, friends, you can just like split up like a pack of 25, save some for yourself obviously, and just like divvy it up. So just little cute gift ideas and some discount codes to help you save a little bit of money during this holiday season. Okay, should we get into it?
Yes, let's dive on in.
All right.
To our first topic of the day.
All right, let's talk about.
I have to admit is a pretty long topic. This article came out in the Hollywood Reporter, and then it was spread everywhere.
Yes.
And it was when I'm reading through it, I'm like, oh wow, they're covering a lot of stuff, and not just Wonder Woman 3 on this. But it seems like, this is what happens when you get new executives, new people into a certain big industry or a big company. They're going to want to shake things up. And seeing how now James Gunn is involved.
Peter Safran is involved.
Peter Safran. And also the fact that, it's gone from HBO to Warner to Discovery. So it is
Warner Brothers Discovery.
Discovery. So there's going to be a lot of things that are getting shaken up. And also, James Gunn recently came out and did a little tweet saying some of it's true, some of it's kind of true, some of it's not true at all, and some we have no idea. I mean, they're very much at the beginning of all of this chaos and all of this shakeup. But, it's an interesting time. Everyone now has speculations on what they're going to keep, what they're going to get rid of, what are they going to change, how are they going to keep certain things. And they still kind of have to finish out what they've started.
Yeah, I mean, am I bummed to hear that there's not going to be a Wonder Woman 3? Yes, because you guys know this. I mean, I'm wearing my Wonder Woman, sweater today. I really liked Wonder Woman, the first one. I loved it so much. I thought it was shot beautifully, and I loved the battle sequences, and I thought it was a great entry for Wonder Woman, the iteration that Gal Gadot has been playing. So, Wonder Woman 1984, I wanted to like it. It just like the vibe wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something more like the first one. They leaned a lot more towards that 1984 80s theme. So
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, like that's going to be it. But then, and Roka and I were talking about this yesterday on the John and Wendy show. He was saying that it felt like it was going to be kind of for 3, Patty Jenkins' treatment was going to be like 1984 again. And I was like, oh, but are we going to still be in that time frame? Because aren't we moving on from that? And if we are, then it doesn't really make sense. And I just didn't really connect with the way they did 1984. Like there's a lot of things that I wish we gotten more. Like I love Pedro Pascal, but I kind of feel like we should have focused on Wonder Woman and Cheetah, that being her nemesis. And I would have liked to see even more of that. And like, I really don't think we're going to get, I mean, the fact that it may not happen. And well, I mean, no, she's like, it's done. They're done with working with Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
At this point. So like, that's kind of a bummer, because then what does that mean? Does that mean we are done with this iteration of Wonder Woman in the DCU moving forward, period? Because they're supposedly having to, build out this 10-year plan that Zaslav was speaking so passionately about, and then hiring on James Gunn, Peter Safran to do all of this. And they have to kind of tinker and think and plan really ahead.
Yeah, it says that they were trying to figure out like a 10-year, they were figuring out years in advance. What are they going to be doing for the next 10 years? And that's always really difficult to tackle, especially the fact this basket that James Gunn has been handed is a little difficult, because what exactly do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? How do you want to keep this storyline? Do you want to keep going with this character? But you can't keep this character, and you have to change around this, and this. And it's very interesting to see. I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with this, and whether or not even say something that's near and dear to James Gunn's heart, like say the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Do you think even on that front, he might be like, we can't really continue this. We are going to have to go in a different direction and start over. And this is kind of something that I'm a little curious on what you guys think too.
Yes.
Would you rather see a 100% clean slate to where they are pretty much rebooting, getting a new Superman, new Wonder Woman, new Aquaman, everything, and starting fresh? Or do you want them to, you have to keep everything?
Yes.
Either keep everything or scrap everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, each one of those has its pros and cons, but I'm hoping that they find something in the middle.
Yes.
Because it would seem very weird to get rid of some of these amazing actors that you already have already signed on for some of these movies, and just be like, you know what? No, we're going in a completely different direction. Like, people love Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
People love Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and as and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Do you completely start over? I mean, I'm really curious to see just the blueprint of what they thought up of when they were in the cabin just brainstorming this new era of DC movies.
Yeah, I feel like there is a lot in the plans and in the article, like you said, James Gunn tweeted. What I like about having James Gunn being in charge of the DCU is that he will tweet and he will squash any misinformation and be like, all right, some of it is true, some of it is not, some of it is like kind of sort of, but not really at the same time. So it gives you a little bit of that transparency, especially for he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to tweet it at all. But James Gunn has always kind of been the one that's like, hey, nope, that's not true. I never said that. Or like, you're taking this out of context is what I said. You got to give the audience the full story here. So I appreciate that, because I'm not saying the fans have to let us know, but we are, as fans, we're so passionate and so excited for these characters that we just want to know what's next and what to anticipate, just because, we're humans and we're by nature curious and want to know. So I am pretty bummed that the Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman 3 won't be happening, but if there's any truth to that, it was going to be the vibe of like 1984, then I think maybe it's a good decision. And also thinking about Patty Jenkins, she also is no longer working on that Star Wars movie that originally they like everybody was
right?
They were so excited about it, and her how you know her dad's a pilot or her grandfather was a pilot, and so it was going to meld her love of like you know aviation with Star Wars, and she was going to put her knowledge into that. And I was like, well, that's going to be interesting, that could be cool. And then just so that's not happening, and then now Wonder Woman 3 isn't happening.
Now I think in the article it did say that this treatment of Wonder Woman was scrapped.
Yes.
It's not, I don't think they've completely thrown out the idea of doing a Wonder Woman 3 with Patty Jenkins.
Okay.
From what it read like, it was this treatment. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, we actually do have a couple good points. Travis Earl is very much keep Momoa as Aquaman. And I agree with you. I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And the Moon says, I think he'll do a clean reboot. A soft reboot has already been attempted. And that also makes sense. You know, I could see how Warner Discovery would want to start over again. It's like, okay, we've already tried to kind of take what we want and make something new. We don't want to do that again because it didn't quite work. So let's scrap everything and just start fresh, learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
And move forward. So I'm really curious. I can't wait to see what James Gunn comes out with.
I want to trust in him. I mean, this man took the first Suicide Squad, which had less positive reactions to, then made it his own with essentially almost the same character. Well, no, not really. I guess Margot Robbie is the constant in that. But
Margot Robbie, I thought there was one more person.
Well, Rick Flag.
That, and also what's her name? The girl the woman that's in charge.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller. Thank you.
Viola Davis.
Yes.
That's kind of. But then everybody else, if you think about it, the Ratcatcher, Idris Elba, Polka Dot Man, John Cena, Peacemaker. Like he took Peacemaker. First time we've ever seen that character on screen anywhere, and then turned it into a series, and everybody's like, "Yeah, okay." And then it was such a hit. So I really, really want to trust in James Gunn. Like, look what he's done for the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like he has visions and he has ideas. He just needs to. I mean, this is a huge undertaking. This isn't just like him working on one movie with an ensemble cast, right? This is the future of DCU.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot. And he even said it, like, there's going to be decisions that you guys are going to like, and there's going to be decisions that you are not going to like. He knows this.
Well, also remember, when they first cast Gal Gadot, no one liked it. So many people were like, what? You're casting this? How can you do this? This is the worst idea ever. And then now it's like, she's one of the favorites.
She's Wonder Woman
of the DC universe.
Yeah, I really like her.
There's going to be a lot of news that we get that we're going to like that's going to end up not good. And things that we don't like that end up being good. So
I'm going to try to be patient this time around instead of like, you know, like the trigger keyboard fingers be like, ah! So
it's hard not to though, because since we are so passionate about these movies, these characters,
yes,
just the whole universe, it is hard not to wear your emotions on your sleeves.
Yeah.
And not to get so worked up and be like, no, calm.
Yeah. So we will see. MK here says via the rap, Jenkins walked away completely. So it's probably creative differences, and she wanted her film to go one way, and you know the studios was like kind of like, can we try this instead? And you know, and I get it when you're the director and you know you did the first movie and the second movie of a big DC character like Wonder Woman, and then now they're going to be like, well, I don't know. I get it if you have this vision and you really truly believe in it.
Well, and it's also tough for the director as well, because not only does your movie have to be financially successful, it has to make the money, but it also needs to be critically successful. For example, Wonder Woman, it made a lot of money. A lot of people went to it, but since it wasn't as critically acclaimed, they're like, well, you know, we're going to take back some of the power that we gave you.
Before we move on, I just want to say thank you to Anthony Solis for your
Thank you.
super chat. Anthony writes, Dustin, Wendy, and the movie bunch. How is everyone? So much news happening. Hope you are all doing good this holiday season. Thank you, Anthony. And we hope you're doing well this holiday season. Thank you so much for stopping by and showing support. But hey, this isn't the last bit of DC news. There's more. So the Man of Steel 2, the script was rejected, and kind of following the same conversation in that, like, what is happening to the DCU? They've already kind of done the soft reboot, so will they do that again? Or are they wiping the slate clean and just doing it with a brand new cast? I've always said, like, we've needed a Man of Steel 2 movie a long time ago, even before BVS came out. I felt like we needed that. Like, if you think about it, Henry Cavill has been in one solo movie starring as Superman. Everything else is Batman v Superman. So he's sharing it with, granted, like, that's kind of cool with Batman and Superman, right? But then Justice League. So
Batman v Superman was also very much a continuation of that story. But yeah, I mean, we got two Aquaman movies before we got a second Superman movie, which is, I find, kind of weird, because Superman pretty much kicks off the DC movie universe every time. Superman was one of the very first superhero movies that we got, not superhero movies, but the fact that we got a huge successful, it was a blockbuster, everyone ran to go see it. And then it was, but so you would think that they would be building a lot more off of Superman.
Yeah.
So did something just come in?
Yeah, there was a comment, I'm just seeing it now, from the Lord of Darkness.
Ooh.
Breaking the Collider, Crisis on Infinite Earth movie planned with Henry Cavill before the DC shakeup news. So I am on the website now, and it says here, in a news report from the Hollywood Reporter, it seems Johnson, as in Dwayne Johnson, may not be entirely correct about Hamada. The report states that prior to the production of Black Adam, Hamada had his own plan. Hamada, Walter Hamada, used to be part of, has recently left. He was in charge of the DC stuff, and now he's no longer in charge of it. Had his own plans to bring Cavill back into the folks at WB and DC Films. And the project he was planning was Crisis on Infinite Earths. Cameos from the actor in forthcoming DC movies like Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in the upcoming The Flash were described as breadcrumbs to future films inspired by the story. Wow. That would have been really, really freaking cool. I'm going to plug in my computer for a second there. Dustin, how do you feel about potentially we could have seen that?
Well, that is something that I've been dying for, and I think that's the direction that they should be going in so many of these for the DC cinematic universe, is the fact that once you do Crisis on Infinite Earth, you now have the freedom to be able to go, hey, you know what? Let's have a Batman movie with a Batman that has nothing to do with any of the main storyline that we're doing, or kind of like having, what is that, the Battington. You can have a Joker that has nothing to do with Battington or any of the other, and it's part of the Crisis on Infinite Earth. So you have all of these different stories that you can do, and it doesn't really matter how well they do, so it doesn't affect the rest of your big slate.
Yeah,
because I think it gives you a lot more freedom. And we as fans just get more fun, amazing, awesome movies.
Yeah, I mean, I love that that's where his vision was. And this was, like you guys mentioned, and like the article said, it was before the DC News shakeup. This is while Hamada was still in. So there was plans to kind of do like an ensemble film. And a film like that, it needs, and I think Debbie even said it here. Here it is. Crisis is a film that needs to be built up. That's a story where you need everyone. And I feel like they were definitely walking towards that. And then all of this happened. So I kind of feel bad because they have great characters, and I feel like they have great stories to tell, but they just got to get, everything ironed out first before they can execute. I think it felt like it was like movie, go, movie, go, movie, go. And I was like, but what about the overall cohesiveness? Because you are working within like the DCU. Like, so what is that looking like for the future?
And it's also really tough though when you do have a big shakeup like a buyout or a merger. That just makes, oh wow, we had all these plans, and just because of this merger, it's now all gone to pieces. So it's hard for something like this, a creative, many parts moving multiverse in a sense, or just cinematic universe to be built. Then a merger happens. It's kind of like you just have this whole thing, but this whole house of cards, and then just everything just gets dropped.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate now with the script being rejected for MoS 2. Does that mean we will, like, if that's still on the table, they're just waiting for like another script, or I don't know. And there's also the potential of, if you kind of look at Wonder Woman 3, and if they're going to do like a hard reboot of the DCU, that would mean a full recast. Then that means Cavill is no longer going to be the Superman in the, you know, in the future. Like, so what does that mean for all of it? And I feel like, as much as I don't want him or any of the current DC superheroes to be recast, because I've grown to just really like them in their characters.
Yeah.
If it's necessary to build out a very cohesive and connected DCU, and I say, like, then let's do it. But then I also wonder, then what do they do with some of these other anthology films, like Joker 2, Matt Reeves' Batman? What did those mean? Are they just like standalone, or are we kind of just gonna say they're different Earths? You know, could we? I mean, they could say that, because that does exist. So we will see. We have Highlander 723 with a super chat, who writes, "Be honest, is there any hope for DC? Be honest." Yeah. It's DC.
let's say worst of the worst happens. Everything fails. That's the nothing of that James Gunn has worked out. Nothing that was working ends up working. Everything fails. Give it some time. DC is such a huge property. DC is money. So they're going to try to bring it back sooner or later. And the fact that comic books are now such a viable option to make movies out of, they're not just going to be like, oh, well, it failed, we're never going to do it ever again, never touch it. True, it might take some time for it to be revitalized, but I don't think we're going to like never see another DC movie ever again, worst case scenario.
They'll never not make a DC film.
No.
These characters and its fan base is too large for them to not do anything. Like, it's just, you're sitting on free money and you're not using it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's all about like making the money, but movie studios are also a business. It's art, and it's also a business. So yeah, that's why I think there's a sense of urgency for them to figure it out. But at the same time, it's just a lot of people with different ideas and all want to be in charge at once. So I wish James Gunn and Peter Safran the best. And I want to, cheer them on, and I will patiently wait for whatever it is that they can give us.
Yeah.
With
sooner or later, someone will find out the formula that works.
Yeah.
And then DC's going to skyrocket.
Yes.
It might be with James Gunn. It might be whoever they hire next. So, but yeah, DC's been around for a long time.
Yes.
It's going to be around for a lot longer.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Well, continue commenting your thoughts on MoS, on Wonder Woman, DC news in the comments, or if you're watching on the VOD, feel free to comment that in the comment section below. And while you're here, 36 of you watching, please give this video a thumbs up. Really helps us out and get more visibility on YouTube. And I think we are streaming to Twitch as well. So I want to say hello to, let me just go ahead and get this guy out. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I have to, there's a bot in the chat on Twitch. I will deal with that later. Don't click on it. Whatever they're promoting, it's scam.
Also, word of advice to anyone who watches any of our things. We do get a lot of bots and a lot of scams. We try to tackle them as much as possible on our channel. But if we have not mentioned anything like a giveaway or anything, you have not seen us talk about it, do not click on any of these. Do not DM them. they're all scams.
They're all scams. We're not going to tell you to telegram us. We're not going to tell you to, like, and we will reach out to you.
Yes.
That's the way it's going to be done. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next bit of topic on today's live stream. I think this is a good segue here. Hello to that Star Wars guy in the comments. Hey guys, I have a lot of free time starting Wednesday, December 14th. Oh, that's real soon. Until December 24th. Do you guys have any ideas or recommendations for things to do for fun? I don't want to sit on my phone all day. I know I get into the I'm gonna sit on my phone and just, it's so easy to go down like the clock
rabbit
apps.
hole of social media, whether
and
it be
just
Instagram,
like one
TikTok.
more video, and you just keep scrolling. One more video. These are 30-second videos, right? Like there's no harm. 5 hours later, not 5 hours later, but like 2 hours later, you're just like, you're a skeleton. You're just like scrolling with the phone. So things to do for fun. Well, Avatar: The Way of Water is coming out. We're seeing it next week. A lot of people have seen already. I'm seeing a lot of positive reviews. A lot of people praising the technology and the visual, which we expect to be nothing less than spectacular. But we can't wait to see that. So if you want to go from a small screen to the big screen, that is a movie for you to check out if you want something to kind of get into the holiday mood, but that's a little bit more mature, rated M for mature. You can check out Violent Night.
Yes, I was just going to recommend that. That is one of the movies that I love. The fact that it's an original IP, the fact that it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, "What is this?" Yeah, I love the vibe of it. Definitely go check out Violent Night. It is a great, fun, violent movie.
Yes, it's definitely rated R, hard R. Other things to do. I mean, there's a lot of, like Christmas tree lots, and sometimes you have to look for them, like in like locally in where the city, wherever you are. Sometimes just look for the ones. Sometimes they have more than just like buy a tree and tie it to the roof of your car and go home. Sometimes they have little like fun little activities. Those sell hot chocolate, they'll have music playing. So if you look for those, you just want something that's a little bit more Christmassy. There is that. A lot of
something that Wendy and I actually do every season is the fact that there is a neighborhood, an entire neighborhood that's near us that everyone puts up Christmas lights. And every single year we just get a couple little thermoses of hot chocolate, and we throw Navi in the back of the car in the back seat of the car.
She gets her own seat. She gets a little seat belt. Very
we
cute.
Actually bring her like her little bed.
She has
and
a
we
little
just drive around
stroller,
looking at all of the different lights.
We were going to go this Sunday, but the forecast says rain. So I don't want to be doing that. So I think we're going to have to postpone. But there's a lot of things like that. If you're in California, there is tons. The Irwindale Speedway has like a Santa thing. Griffith Park in the zoo area usually have a thing. Descanso Garden, the Arboretum, the LA. I don't know what it's called, but I think it's like deep. It's like Malibu area, but if you want to go, there's just a lot. So just do a quick Google search of like Christmas things to do in your area. So there is a lot. What else is there for movies and shows? Oh, okay. There's Spirited. If you guys have Apple TV Plus, Spirited. That's with Will Ferrell.
I did not get to see that.
Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell.
That Wendy got to see it.
You couldn't come with.
For
some reason.
I know I wasn't available.
I brought my friend Laura with me. So yeah, there's tons of holiday movies. Like I feel like this is the year to revisit The Christmas Prince on Netflix. I think it's time. I know it's an older movie. It's like 3-4 years old, maybe longer, but yeah. Oh, Paul says Knott's Berry Farm. Knott's Berry Farm. We should go. Yeah. We actually have a season pass. We should go.
Which Riverside I have to admit, the season pass for Knott's Berry Farm is very affordable. I think for the entire year, no blockout days, it's like $175 or something like that.
Good day. You'll see what that means when you watch the movie.
So if you guys like Knott's Berry Farm, and Knott's Berry Farm is a really fun place. I haven't been there in a few years, but I remember when I did go, it's very cute. Nostalgia. It's cute. And there's a lot of just little fun places that you can go out and celebrate the holiday season. But we also I'm
trying to see which day we can go.
Yeah, we need to pick a day.
We need to go before Christmas. Okay.
Before Christmas ends. Oh yeah, before Christmas Day.
And what is our go-to Christmas movie?
Oh,
I know mine.
well,
What's yours?
I like. Do you want me to do? I like.
You say yours.
Scrooged with Bill Murray. That's
Yes.
one of my favorites that I always bring up. That, and I also do like The Nightmare Before Christmas because it does kind of fit for Halloween and Christmas. So I watch it at least. I have it on at least twice a year to have it in the background.
Like when Thanksgiving starts, you're like, Nightmare Before Christmas, go.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's Elf. I love that movie so much.
Santa.
I know him. This was years ago, and I still regret this. So if I ever see it at a Target again, I'm buying it. There were these sets of 4 just like glasses, but they're elf themed, and they all had a different quote from the movie. And one of them says, Santa, I know him. Smiling is my favorite. And then my ultimate favorite is you sit on a throne of lies.
I love that.
And I was looking at it and I was like, I really want to get this. And I was like, do we need more glasses in the house? Because we have so many mugs. And I was just like, so I put it back. And I just don't feel like I should have put it back.
No, it's one of those things that you kick yourself every single year that you did not get.
This was years ago, and I still haven't let it go. The regret is deep inside me.
I also have to agree with Blade GTR on this. That fact that, yes, A Muppet Christmas Carol is definitely a classic for me. And I have to admit, I don't think I've seen a Christmas story from beginning to end.
Me too.
In one sitting.
Me too.
I think I've seen the movie in total.
Yeah.
With, seeing this part, because there's so many clips that you see all the time. But I don't think I've ever done it in one sitting.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I need to do because they have that sequel out now.
Yes.
So just what was it? It was A Christmas Story 2. It's Another Christmas Story.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there's so much content out there.
There is a lot.
From Wednesday that just dropped a few weeks ago, which I really want to see, and I really want to do reactions to.
Yes. And before we go on to answering Highlander 723's super chat, thank you for so much for sending that in. I just want to say one more thing you can do. If you live in Southern California, visit Grinchmas at Universal Studios Hollywood. It'll get you in the holiday cheer. They kind of revamped. It's still in the same area. It kind of takes place within like the Central Universal Plaza on the upper lot. So you can't miss it because you have to walk past it to get to anywhere else in the park. But there is, you get to see the very tall Whoville tree. There is a very special tree lighting that's back this year. I don't think they did it last year because, like as in a full show.
Last year was a very interesting year. It was us just coming out of of 2020 and COVID. So it makes sense that last year was a little bit like, how do we do this? What's going on?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this year they are back in full swing. And honestly, Grinchmas always has a very special place in Wendy's and in my heart. It's, Wendy was a part of it for so many years. I spent so much time there because I was going to see Wendy. So yes, Grinchmas is very near and dear, and you have to go see the Grinch.
Yeah, you got to go see the Grinch.
So much fun to just talk with and just we actually shot some stuff. We covered Grinchmas. We covered Grinchmas this year, and that footage will be coming out soon on our channel. But it is a blast. I love it. Go check it out.
Yes, there is. So there is a, I think a lot of people know this. I was a part of Grinchmas. Like I was a performer, and there is this one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I remember that.
One of the sorry, I can't type and speak at the same time. There is this one year, The Voice shot one of their special. It's not like the finale, but it was what actually I think it might have been. No, we're gonna click on it and find out.
I'm pretty sure it would have if you type in the Grinch. Oh, not sorry. The Voice and Grinchmas. It might pop up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can find it, but there's an ad playing on this video that I clicked on, so I don't know if this is the same one. I don't think it is.
You got to scroll
No.
through. No, that's not it.
This is not it. Okay, I will. It's season 5 of The Voice, so the finale, and they had a handpicked cast to come in to perform specifically, and we didn't even really like do the full performance because it's TV. But portions of it was like, it was not live, but it's live to tape, so the contestants really had no idea what they were pulling up to do, which I thought was pretty cool. Let me see if I can find it while you talk to the chat.
Also, something else, some recommendations that we have that are popping up in the chat. Debbie put in Hawkeye is a good kind of Christmas show. And I agree with that. I think watching Hawkeye for the Christmas season works very well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that show. It was a lot of fun. But also to double back a little bit for Highlander's question. So you have for your super chat.
Oh yeah, did I put it up?
Yes.
Okay, great.
You did.
Go ahead and answer that.
So I have it up here. I didn't mean DC in general. I meant the DCU. James Gunn is good, but even I don't think he can pull off a miracle. I don't think Kevin could do it. I don't. Oh, so you don't even think Kevin Feige could, like, if they like somehow if Warner Brothers poached Kevin Feige, come in and save the DC in a sense, like. That's even a tough order to kind of be able to pull off. And that makes sense. I mean, they are very much in the middle of, they have all of this all of this previous stuff that's being produced, and stuff that they were in a direction that they were thinking of going. And now they're shaking everything up. So what exactly do you go? It's a big challenge for James Gunn. I think it's going. Is there hope for it? I think there is. I think there is a lot of hope for because there's still a lot of good things that have come out of DC, the cinematic universe, over the course of the last couple of years. There's a lot of things that can help. They have a better idea on where they want to go now. Before they were kind of they had so many hands, so many chefs in the kitchen. And I think picking one person to be like, okay, we like your vision and we like your and we like your kind of creative eye. So it makes sense that now that they're kind of solidifying everything, it's after a big merger. So there's a lot at stake. I think there's hope. I'm not going to, so here, over under, do you think, let's put it at 50%.
Okay.
Do you think that this is what James Gunn is planning and where they're heading right now is going to win or lose?
Say that one more time.
50-50 chance.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be successful, or do you think they're going to have to scrap everything and start over after what James Gunn does? Do you think James Gunn is going to be successful on bringing the whole DC universe back into a cohesive, functional storytelling movies? Or do you think they're going to be like, oh, nuts, James Gunn didn't work, we have to now think of something new?
Do I trust in James Gunn and his ideas? Yes. What is the big if in this is that they don't let him bring that into reality. That's the fence that I'm sitting on. It's not that I don't trust in James Gunn. I think he really does understand comics and these characters and how to bring how to show them off in the best light possible. Like, just look at what he did with Peacemaker. Like, that show still surprises me, you know. Yeah. And so I believe he can do it, but it's just that he doesn't get to say, I want this and this will happen. Like, there is still Zaslav that I feel like is the deciding vote, yes or no, right? So I feel like that's kind of the hierarchy and how it would work. So the iffy part is, do they just trust in the man and say, okay? So they liked him enough to give him Suicide Squad 2 and Peacemaker. So, you know, I feel I would like to think that they would let him do this, but it's a lot of creativity and decisions and money sitting on top of all of this IP. And that's where it is. So, like, do I think he can do it? Yes. Do I think the rest of the studio will just let him? Yeah, that's a part I don't know, because I am not 100% clear on exactly how the hierarchy works there. So
yeah, and I think honestly, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to judge in the next 5 years because let's say 5 years down the line, and they're not as successful. But maybe they're doing a little bit better. Do they give that success to James Gunn, or do they give that success to, well, there were already stuff that was coming out that we thought was going to be successful, and that stuff was good, but James Gunn's stuff hasn't. I mean, there's nothing really that James Gunn did, but it's going to take years to really find out.
Yeah.
Since it's just starting.
Yeah, it's just starting. So that's why I keep saying, like, we as fans, we want to know, like, what's next? What's next? What's next? But at the same time, we have to be patient because this is something they're literally talking about all day, every day.
Yeah.
This is all James Gunn is doing. I'm sure just meeting.
But I'm going to tell you what must happen. And a lot of you agree with me in the chat. And that is a Batman Beyond movie.
Then who's going to be Batman?
I don't know, but I just want to see a Batman Beyond movie.
I want a Batman Beyond movie. There's just so many cool characters. I feel like we barely just there could be like Young Justice. There's a lot. There's a Nightwing movie that I need to happen.
I want the Dark Justice League Dark, because someone who put it in the chat for Swamp Thing and Constantine.
Ooh,
I was like, ooh.
Travis Earl.
I mean, what is it? They did an interview with Keanu Reeves, and he was like, out of all of the characters that you've ever done, Keanu, what is the one that you would just love to come back and do a second movie as, but there's no chance that it's ever going to happen? And he said, Constantine. I want to do Constantine again. And now that that's out there, that he wants to come back as Constantine, I can see James Gunn just jumping on that, being like, let's get him back.
Yeah. So yeah,
and now
it'll work out. You just have to wait for it, because otherwise they're going to be in this like really vicious cycle of like restart doesn't work, instead of just be like, everything stop, and let me just drive this bus and let us get from point A to point B. Just trust in me. If you want a 10-year plan, you have to really sit there and everybody has to agree on this vision to move forward cohesively. There can't be like, I want this and I want this. You can't please everybody. You really can't. Like, there's going to be, like he said, there's going to be decisions that they make that we're going to be like, what the heck? But, hopefully that decision will mean a really, really smooth connectivity for the MCU moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. Since we were talking about the Grinch a little bit ago, I also just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. So I had no idea that there is this. Everybody knows the Grinch, the Jim Carrey live action movie. I know there's a couple I really like. I mean, obviously the old Dr. Seuss like cartoon, love that too. But I really love the Jim Carrey one, mostly because that gave me a job at Universal Studios Hollywood for like 5 years. So I was like, I love it. I watched that movie so much before I auditioned for that for a performer role.
It is Universal. A good adaptation. I have to admit, what they did with taking a relatively small children's book and turning it into a full-length motion picture, they did a really good job on the adaptation.
So now there is another. It's a parody movie. That
a parody horror
movie. Based off the Grinch and Dr. Seuss, and it's called The Mean One. And it looks like I am looking at the photo of it right now. Other than the contacts and a slight difference in the hair,
and making him look a little bit more dirty.
The face sculpt literally looks the same. It looks very, very identical. But instead of the regular eyes, this Mean One has red eyes. And it's horror. It's 2022. The director is Stephen LaMorte. And this is an unauthorized parody of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't even know why that they tried to actually go to Dr. Seuss and you say, hey, yeah, this beloved thing,
kid story.
We're going to turn it into a horror movie. I'm sure they're like, get out. Yeah. Get out. We're not giving you the rights. No way in hell.
So they're walking around. I think they're protected under the parody law or rule. So instead of Cindy Lou Who, they're using Cindy You Know Who. Instead of Whoville is Newville. The Grinch is Cricket Mountain. They can't say Mount Crumpet. So they have to say, I guess, Cricket Mountain. The narrator rhymes just like Dr. Seuss does in his book. Instead of Mayor Mayhew, we have a Mayor McBean. Sheriff Hooper instead of Hooper Humperdinck. They have a nod to Cat in the Hat. They have a Horton's Bar, like Horton Hears a Who. There's a Dr. Zeus instead of Dr. Seuss, I guess. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. I kind of want to give it a watch. The Me one is in theaters right now.
So I'm a little curious if there is anyone out there who's actually
when
does this come out? Has this actually come out?
It's in theaters.
It's in theaters right now.
Well, it's Christmas time, so it makes sense, right?
No, that makes very, very. I mean, and also the story does kind of lend itself to a horror adaptation. I'm surprised someone actually hasn't done this earlier.
Yeah,
especially after the success of The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
So. But however, there's something about it that just I don't like. When I was reading this and going through it, I'm just going, oh, don't do this. Don't do this to the Grinch and to Dr. Seuss. Yeah. It just seems a little, I don't know.
Well, have you heard about the Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
The same thing with that. Same thing. I feel the exact same way with the horror movie of Winnie the Pooh. And plus also, horror isn't my genre. But I can see how some people would be like, yeah, let's do it.
I've just got this crazy idea in my head. I don't know if this is going to happen. But what if we don't go see it in theaters? What if we wait until it's out on streaming or DVD or whatever? And we film a reaction to it.
We can probably do that. I'm sure
that would be the one time the movie couple will actually do a movie reaction, because we don't typically do those.
And we do it to the Grinch Stole Christmas parody horror movie.
Yeah. Kyle Arking says, I didn't see the Me one, but I did see a guy wearing a Grinch costume on The View yesterday. And it was equally as horrifying. Oh no! And was it like authorized, or was it just like a homemade costume?
I think it was like he says on, what is it called? On the View. So probably someone that was either production or on the show just showed up in a Grinch costume. But I had a thought and my brain just went bye-bye.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No.
Oh no, it's Nightmare.
What?
It's not. Oh no, I see it. It's on their Instagram. It's on the View Instagram.
What the?
Oh no!
That's
no,
gosh, that's horrifying. I'll move my head, but no, that's right up there with Cats. That is,
it's worse.
It's worse than, I'd have to see. I agree with you. It really just, no, not for me.
Oh no, my eyes.
But
props to you, man, for wearing that costume and donning the makeup.
But that in itself is worth. I mean, because putting on that costume underneath those lights and putting on that makeup, is not fun. I've had to do stuff like that before for productions.
Okay. All right. Should we move on to anything else?
Yeah.
Marvin Martin.
Sure. Let's move.
That's not very jellical. Oh, speaking of Marvin Martin, who has a super chat for us. Who writes Oz, a horror movie trailer. Oh my gosh, there's an Oz horror movie. I feel like the Oz could very much slip into a horror movie. Same thing with like Alice in Wonderland. Mm-hmm. That could, because that just lends itself to the whole idea of a bad trip. Mm-hmm. And then this is recommendations from Marvin Martin, who also has Circus of Souls by Dawn Prince Hughes. Voice play. We love voice play. Mm-hmm. Voice plays Chipmunk's Christmas and Castellucci's White and Hawaiian Christmas. There you go. Recommendations. Check them out.
Thank you so much, Marvin Martin.
Thank you so much, Marvin Martin, for your support and recommendation. Okay, moving on. Let's talk. Let's talk about Willow episode 3. Let's talk about that. Because we, prior to seeing any of the episodes, we're like super excited. Like I rewatched Willow just to kind of refresh my memory.
I was so excited.
We're so excited. And we saw episode 1 and 2 at the same theater that it originally premiered in, which was like super, super cool. And I actually really enjoyed the first episode. Yes. I thought it set it up the story nice. And I was like, okay, well, we got 8 episodes in total, 40 minutes, give or take. Like, they'll hash out the story, and they've dropped a pretty big like not plot twist, but a pretty big reveal just with the first episode now. And that got me thinking, whoa, what else are we going to get for the rest of the season? Episode 2, I didn't really love. It was quite exposition heavy.
Yeah. And I really just didn't, I felt like the choices that they made in episode 2 were just kind of bland. I didn't really like the direction that they went. Honestly, overall, the direction that they're taking, I'm a little like, wait, what? Not, and part of that's with my headcanon. But then we came around to episode 3. And I was like, what the hell's going on?
I thought the pacing for episode 3 was really weird. There was a lot of, and I don't know if that's direction or if that's editing. It just felt really, things would start and end. It just very abrupt. Namely, and this is, by the way, spoiler warning, if you haven't watched episode 3 of Willow and you're waiting, maybe tune us out for like the next 5 minutes. But, you know, as Alora was running through the woods to get away from the people that's trying to capture her and take her to Babmorda, well, not really Babmorda, with that, whatever evil there is, to the Gales, I guess. All of a sudden, it was this dark, foggy forest, and she comes upon 2 women in like their like little campsite, and all of a sudden it was bright. So immediately that made us, the audience, think, okay, she stumbled something across that's safe to be there because it's warm and light, and it's magical, or it's an illusion to trick her to let down her guard because she's so easy to trust that maybe they'll be like, okay, well, we'll have her let her guard down and then we'll capture her again. So it's going to be one of those 2. And as it turned out, I feel like that wasn't like an actual thing she did experience. And it just felt really out of place. And I don't know if the purpose of that scene was for Alora to understand, you are the prophesized, you are the empress. You're such a legend that people are willing to follow you and do anything for you. Case in point, what happened to these 2 women.
Yeah, and so it places a little bit of responsibility on what happened with those characters. But the thing is that I understand what they were trying to go for that, but the characters that they put in there did not fit the world that they had presented to us earlier. Also, they looked like they were out of the 1800s. Yeah. They really did look more like cowboys kind of era, and I almost,
it was like she was in a full denim outfit
with even like a cowboy hat on, and I'm like, no one else in any of the episodes or in the movie looked even remotely like this. And then the change in color, it looked like they had filmed this scene and then gone, oh wait, we want it to be dark, oh it's too late, let's not make it. But
then the rest of the episode, once they got to, you know, the slaughter lamb, if you will, everything was so dark, like Game of Thrones. Like, and I don't mean dark in the vibe, I mean literally you would need to turn up the brightness of your TV to be able to see what was going on. And I don't know if they felt like they wanted to try to hide something from the audience, or like, because
the bad fight choreography. That's what they wanted to hide.
I feel like they could have just shown it, like, because it's not like we haven't seen it in episode 1 or 2. We've already seen it, so why not just give it to us? So that was kind of jarring, and it so far it's my least favorite episode. I really didn't like episode 2, and I just didn't think I would dislike it, but this one really made me go, ooh, I feel worried for this series. Usually, like, wanted it to be good. Yeah, you and I usually sit there and we're kind of like, okay, well, let's give it another go. I don't know if we want to continue with the reaction.
Yeah, I think what we might end up doing,
like, we'll still tape it for episode 4, depending on how it goes, but we may not spend the time to edit it. If we end up really not enjoying it, we might turn it into kind of like how we did that one Game of Thrones episode, and we'll insert some reactions in there, but it'll be more like a spoiler review base, because it takes me 4 to 5 hours to edit, and I lose a lot of sleep because I start editing at around 1:30 a.m. PT, and I don't finish until the earliest, which is 4 o'clock. So it's 3 hours.
And also from the chat, Kyle, I'm right there with you. When they started playing Metallica for a modern day,
this one?
Okay. At the very, very bottom, that I was like, wait, what is this? This is a fantasy movie and you're playing Metallica. I understand. I mean, because anytime those songs do come on, it does kind of get you pumped up, but it was so out of
It's not
place.
even Metallica though. It's like a cover.
Yeah. So I'm really worried about this series. I was so much looking forward to it. I wanted more high fantasy content on Disney Plus, just in general out in the world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like we're going to get a season 2 of Willow, because so far, unless they just make a hard shift.
And they might.
And it might. I mean, we've seen some trailer. Well, Wendy saw the trailer that just made me go, that made her go, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
It looks like there's going to be more magic. But so far, I am not impressed.
Blade GTRs has this to say about the show. I am not liking this. I officially checked out after this last episode because it's giving me Star Wars The Last Jedi vibes. Willow's coming across like old Luke.
You know what? There is something about Willow too that I agree with you on. That is the fact that you're like, this isn't the Willow that we knew and loved. And true, I can understand. It could be years later. He's gone through so many different problems, different things have happened to him. But still, we want to see the characters that we know and love. And I feel like Willow is just not the same. None of the other characters are really pulling me, or I'm really starting to attach to any of these characters.
Yeah.
I like Borman. Sorry. I like Borman.
Borman's my fave.
Because he's kind of that big, strong, I don't give a...
Well, he's like the Val Kilmer character.
Yeah.
And also they know each other. So it's I feel like it kind of made sense to, and he's big and he's like just like fun. And I feel like his character, for the most part, reminds me of what was charming about the original Willow. There's part of it because, Val Kilmer's character was similar. And then the other one is Jade. I really like Jade. I like her character. I like Aaron Kellyman a lot. And then Graydon is another one that I think is sneaking his way up to be one of my faves too. Like I feel like the full wizard path for him.
Yes, I really hope that that's kind of what happens to him.
Yeah.
But this show can still take a sharp turn. And honestly, okay, so I want to tell you guys what I think they should have done. I don't like this whole, Laura Dannon's been out of the picture for these last however many years this takes place after Willow. I think they should have had a Laura Dannon as queen. She's united the whole country, so many different kingdoms into one big realm. And then finally we get to see this big battle, or this big threat that's starting to threaten all of this work that she's put together. And maybe the first couple of hits, she's losing. She's like, wait a second, I'm the prophesized one. I'm supposed to be the one that saves everything from this evil.
Right.
And then that's when she teams up with Willow. She gets this adventuring party going. She's a powerful sorceress, so she's going to go and look for the breastplate.
Oh.
And that can help her win the Cuirass. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they could have done this in this direction. And I feel like that this whole mystery of who Laura Dannon is, no one knows who she is. Her importance has kind of been swept clean, and they could have made it to where she was in the forefront.
Yeah.
And I'm a little that they didn't go in that direction.
Yeah. So we're a little bit bummed. I think the only part where I really felt sad for the characters was the final moment between Jade and General Valentine or something like that. I felt it, but again, they didn't give us the time to dive into Jade and his history and how he sort of became that father-like figure to her.
Yeah.
To make because it was good, the connection was good, but I was like, ooh, only if we got a little bit more context to really feel that, because I felt it, but I didn't quite connect with it as much as I would have. So, it didn't hit me quite as hard, and I wanted it to, and I want to believe in it because we love Willow. Are we going to continue watching? Yes. Are we going to continue reviewing? Yes. Are we going to continue reaction? TBD. That is TBD. So stay tuned to the channel and see what we decide to do this Wednesday. with Willow, because episode 4 could be good. Sometimes these shows, take a little bit to warm up and get into it, but right now we're very mixed, very lukewarm on it. Other than that it's high fantasy. So
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to our final topic, and that is just to talk about a movie that we got to see last night that you absolutely need to check out. And we wanted to bring this up because we were searching for it yesterday, and this should be a movie. It is a Netflix movie. It is only on, it's in theaters because it's doing the For Your Consideration Awards tour thing, but it is a Netflix film, and Netflix was not promoting it. Like, we had to search for it instead of it being on like the homepage, which is kind of, I was like, what are you doing, Netflix? And that is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It is a must see.
And I have to admit, we were excited about this movie before it came out because Guillermo del Toro, stop motion, it looked dark. It looked like it was going to be a what is it called? A reimagining of the story of Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't expecting how many emotional hits this movie takes on you.
We cried at the end.
If you have Netflix, watch this movie.
Yeah.
It is so well done. It is beautiful. It has such a Guillermo del Toro touch. When you watch it, you go, oh, this is a Guillermo del Toro movie because it has that color, it has that vibrancy, it has that focus on monsters,
the creatures,
and it is so good. Definitely watch it. Go on to Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, get it just to watch Pinocchio.
I mean, what always impresses me about stop motion is about just a few minutes in, I already forgot that it's stop motion, because it's so flawless and seamless. And there's actually an accompanying material on Netflix. It's about 30 minutes long, and it's kind of the making of for Pinocchio. So watch the film and then watch that. And it just shows you everything that they are doing with these puppets for the stop motion film, and some of the newer technology for how they're doing the puppet and they're kind of like their skin, like their fleshy parts, and building the sets and how they made certain things, and Guillermo's vision of Pinocchio. And this is, don't think Disney Pinocchio, because there are some similar through lines, but this is a lot more dark, and it isn't just about a puppet who wants to be a real boy. There is all these characters have their journey and their arcs, and they kind of explore that together and separately at the same time. Like Jiminy Cricket, or should I say the Cricket, kind of has his own realization and journey. Pinocchio, Geppetto specifically, and a couple other characters that we don't want to, mention. Just we want to give you the chance to explore that for yourself. But it is beautiful. Just watch it with some tissues because it'll get you. And it's a musical, so you'll get to hear some songs.
I don't really like calling it a musical.
Why?
True, it is. It has musical numbers in it, but it really doesn't feel like a musical. It really does feel like all of these songs that are in there are placed in an appropriate spot to where it doesn't feel like, oh, they're just breaking out into song.
And it's now for a performance.
Exactly. But, this movie is so well done. And also the cast in this movie is so amazing. From Christoph Waltz to Ewan McGregor to Ron Perlman. It is a stacked cast.
Yes.
So they all do an amazing job on the voices. And if you get a chance to watch that behind the scenes, there are so many just golden nuggets of what they say, of what it just deepens just how good this movie really is.
Yeah. So really enjoy it. Give it a watch on Netflix so it can, I think the more people that watch it, the more it will get pushed up to the homepage for Netflix, because I think it needs to be explored. Like, the art form is just so, you have to be a really dedicated person to want to do stop motion, and Guillermo says it like best in that 30-minute behind the scenes. Definitely give that a watch. It's fantastic. All right, you guys, I think that is it for today's live stream. Normally we do a spoiler heavy show for whatever it is that we're reacting to, but I didn't want to do a 4-hour show just like being negative about Willow. Because like there's elements that I like, but I feel like there's more that I didn't like, and I just didn't want to harp on like the bad stuff because I still really want to like the show and I still want to support it. So that's kind of why we went the usual route of the usual more news focused discussion versus spoiler and one, based on one show. And plus, like, we had to talk about this DC news because it is huge. So as far as Wednesday goes, I think we are going to do another regular stream on no, we're not. Because I have this.
Oh yeah.
So okay, we will figure something out, but we will definitely see you next Saturday, the 17th, for another live stream. Oh, I want to mention, if you guys follow me, some of you are watching on Twitch. Thank you for checking us out on Twitch. I am going to be streaming later. I don't think I'm going to be streaming on my own Twitch channel, which is just Wendy Lee Zaney. So twitch.tv/Wendy Lee Zaney. I don't think I'm going to be streaming Fatal Frame because I kind of want to stream Mario Kart. They added a few new courses. And I want to check that out. So I might be just streaming that just as a fun thing. So the time, it probably won't happen until like 4 p.m. PT or a little bit after, just for a couple hours. So if you've got nothing else going on your Saturday, you want to come and hang out and watch me crash and burn on Mario Kart, feel free to do so.
There was a time that I actually used to be pretty good at Mario Kart. But I played a little bit and I'm like, oh, those skills went away. You don't practice. You don't know the courses. You don't know the little tricks on each little course anymore.
Yeah.
And you get killed.
Yeah.
And we have some of our fans, some of the movie bunch that are huge Mario Kart player. Yes, I'm looking at you, Black Lucky, who if I ever played against him, I would cry. I would be like, he would be so far ahead of me. I would just be like, I don't know why I even tried.
I don't know why I even try. All right, guys. Well, we love you so much. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully, you'll see some of you guys later on Twitch when I play some Mario Kart. And we will see you. If not, then we will see you in a future video or on the next stream. Bye, everyone.